Hey, welcome to Sunstone Welders. Today we're going to look over the unboxing, setup, and getting started of the Orion mPulse welder. This is most typically used in jewelry applications or permanent jewelry or bracelets, chains, those type of applications. Everything here on the table is what comes with the welder as you unbox it. So first of all, you'll see this is the welder power supply and this is a screen. This is going to be what you're interacting with as you are welding. On the welder, this is the stylus. You got a little electrode poking out here, about 1/4 of an inch. This is where the weld is going to be coming from, and the other part you'll be interacting with. This is going to slide right into this to go behind that screen. And this screen is going to protect your eyes as you're welding. What else is in the box? We've got 2 power cords. This is the AC adapter. This plugs into the back of the welder, and then this plugs into your outlet. Argon tubing, that's going to come with the welder. We do recommend that you use argon gas as you are welding. That will give you much better results. That will look a lot cleaner and require less polishing afterwards. We have 2 different styles of alligator clips. We have a precision small clip and a bit of a more heftier one. These are what you will be using to attach to your parts as you are welding. Also included is a vial that has 5 electrodes in it. They're 1 millimeter in diameter. Also included is there's a little diamond drill disc inside here for sharpening the electrodes. Keeping the electrodes sharp is going to be critical for good results. There's a little pen. This is actually fiberglass. As you twist it, the fiberglass will come out and you can use it to lightly polish something after you're finished welding. And finally, also included are the user guide. This user guide is going to contain tips and tricks to get started welding. It's going to go over all of setup. Highly recommend that you review this before you start welding. And also a safety guide and workbook. These should have most everything you need to get started. As you are setting up the welder, it's very simple to set up. Looking at the back of the machine, let's go over plugging in everything. This is the accessory cord going to the darkening screen. That just snaps in right there. Here we have the AC adapter that plugs into the wall. That just slips in right there. On your argon gas for the tubing, that's going to go in the bottom. On this, be sure to press in all the way and then kind of give it a tug to make sure it doesn't come out. And finally, for your alligator clip, that's a banana clip, just plugs right in right there. With everything plugged in, you're ready to weld. Hit the power switch. And now the welder is set up, ready to weld. Here's a user interface on the welder itself. It is very simple to use. Once you turn it on, you want to push play, middle button right here. Once you have pushed play, it's ready to weld. And then changing settings, you can either drag the touchscreen or you can use the plus or the minus on the touchscreen itself. As for selecting settings, I always recommend starting with a low setting and doing a test weld, seeing how it turns out. For most of your applications on jewelry, especially permanent jewelry and chains, we'll be down in the low energy ranges of between 3 and 10. Our recommendation is to start low, do a test weld at 3 watt seconds, see how it turns out, and then turn up from there if you need to. Now that you have your welder all set up and you're ready to go, let's discuss a few tips and tricks to help you get started. First of all, if you're welding a delicate chain, for example, you're going to want to take your alligator clip and you're going to want that to be on the same link that you are welding. That's going to make it be a lot easier and a lot more consistent. The further away you move that alligator clip, the least consistency you will have in your welds. So try to get on the same link if you can. Another tip, when you are welding that link, you don't want there to be any gap between the 2 sides of the link as you're welding it. You want them to be back and touching together once more. If there's a gap at all, again, the weld's not going to be very consistent. It's either going to overmelt and kind of blow it up and push it further away, or it'll be a really weak weld. So try your hardest to get those as close together as you can and touching. Your welds will be a heck of a lot better and your clients will like it a lot more too. Another option, especially as you're welding permanent jewelry on a client, let's go ahead and clip our clip onto the link we're going to weld. You can also weld by hand instead of welding behind the screen. So you can hold the stylus by hand and do the exact same idea, where you bring it up carefully and you touch and hold steady. Just that simple. Again, this is right next to my skin, no damage to my skin, I'm just fine. As far as material selection and what you are welding, precious metals weld best. So gold, silver, even platinum weld really, really nicely. Once you start getting into pot metals or brass or gold filled, the results are not going to be as good. Feel free to try it out and see if you're okay with the results. I have gotten good results on gold filled in the past, but not always. Try it out, see what you think, see if it turns out well for you. Now that you have your welder all set up, you got some tips and tricks, you're ready to go. A few words of advice: practice with your welder for at least an hour. Try welding at high settings, try welding at low settings. You'll see the difference, you'll figure it out really quickly. It's a simple unit and you'll be able to get down and using it really soon.